Good afternoon. My name is Brian Armstrong, and here's a good friend of mine and business partner, Cole Elwood, and we're here to talk to you about key elements of a great lease.
So you have a tried, true, and tested lease that you've been using for many years. What are some of the most important elements of that in your eyes?
Well, I'd say first and foremost, it follows and respects federal and state fair housing laws so that we respect all members of our community. Secondly, I think those key clauses also respect other state and federal laws. So for example, both in the federal government and the state of Vermont require certain disclosures on potential lead paint hazards on properties that were built prior to 1978. So having clauses built into those leases that acknowledge those laws, that confirm receipt of information as required by those laws, can go a long ways as to preventing a landlord from having to fortunately pay certain fines in court. And the other thing particularly about lead paint, it's just the right thing to do. Other clauses that come to mind: do you want this to be a year, long lease, that terminates at the end of the 12-month period, or would you prefer it to be a year-long lease that, while it ends in 12 months, automatically rolls to what we call a rolling 30-day lease, where it's just basically auto renews every 30 days?
So Brian, I'm sure you would agree that the most important part of any lease is that it's clear. It's clear on what the landlord's going to be responsible for, what the tenant's going to be responsible for. What else are you looking at that needs to be in a lease that you're signing?
Clarity on duration, clarity on expectation, who takes care of the lawn maintenance, the trash. With most large apartment buildings, the landlord takes care of that. But yet, if a client of a property management company is renting out, a single family house as opposed to a 4-family or a 6-family, they may have different provisions in who does lawn maintenance, so forth. I would also include, what's included for parking, what's not included for parking, limits for any unregistered guests or, unregistered vehicles. Yeah. You can oftentimes find great tenants who like to work on a car, so they start collecting 1 or 2 cars. And next thing you know, you've got 3-4 cars that are being worked on, which is fine. Just whether or not that's right for your building is a different discussion.
So Brian, aside from a great property management company, maybe a good real estate agent, what is one of the most important resources for a landlord?
One of the most important resources is the Vermont Apartment Owners Association. First and foremost, it's an advocacy for property owners. Secondly, Angela Zakowski, the managing member, does a great job in providing leases, notices. It's a really cost-effective resource to get great documents that are both legally compliant and that have been proven in court. What you absolutely do not want to do, Cole, is go buy a 10-pack of leases at Staples that are worth $3.97 and you'll pay $4 for them.
Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe, and join us next week while we talk about maintaining your investment properties.